Last time on Fairy Tail Chapter 357, the remaining members of the Kukimon, the 9 Demon Gates, Ranmouth of the Armored Shell, Torafusa of the Darkness, Ezel of the Dojigiri, Ryuketsuten Seira, Rei Satan Kyoka, Black Monk Kisu, and Silver of Absolute Zero awaits for hell to begin, for what they are doing is for the sake of Zerath.
So wait, is this gonna be the foreshadowed massacre that Zerath was talking about a couple chapters back?
I think so.
Yes, this is gonna be awesome!
Meanwhile, Yajima has hired the Raijinshuu and Laxus to work in his restaurant. Ever since Fairy Tail's victory in the Grand Magic Games, they've been getting a lot of missions as of late. So they wanted to take a mission that was easier for them, so they could relax. While Laxus was running an errand for Yajima, they received another customer, or so it was led to believe, because all of a sudden the restaurant was destroyed by a massive tornado. Freed, Bixlow, and Evergreen tried to fight this guy, but he was too powerful for them. It seems this person is Tempesta, another member of the Kukimon, whose mission was to kill the former Magic Council members. And he was about to kill Yajima when he was struck by lightning, thanks to Laxus.
Okay, I'll admit that entrance was badass, and I still like Laxus after the whole Grand Magic Games fiasco. So please, Hiro Mashima, don't screw up this fight!
Will Laxus beat Tempesta, a member of the Kukimon from the Guild Tartarus? Find out in this week's chapter of Fairy Tail.
Hey guys, Lunar Spout 27 here, bringing you Fairy Tail Chapter 358, Magic Barrier Particles. So the chapter begins with Laxus, who's going to fight against Tartarus member of the 9 Demon Gates of Hell, Tempesta. Now that previous lightning attack that hit him didn't really do much damage, it just only destroyed his cloak, which he managed to tear it apart to reveal that he is not human but a demon. It's not really that surprising, but it's surprising to Laxus, so okay. But now the thing is, when we get like the text of his name, it turns out he is called Calamity of the Immortals. So is his name Calamity? So am I supposed to call him Calamity? Because I'd rather call him Tempesta, because that's what the manga reader translation says. But this is manga stream, a more accurate translation. So, you know what, I'm just gonna call him Tempesta. Maybe it's like another name similar to Calamity anyway. So as I said before, despite the whole Grand Magic Games thing, I still like Laxus, and I actually am looking forward to seeing his fight. So Tempesta starts to attack with his tornado wind, but it's not really fast enough against Laxus's lightning, because he was able to dodge the attack and kick him in the back. And then he shows up right behind him and says, "Looks like you drew the last straw." Which, okay, it was a lot better than, "I'm all fired up." God, I hate the Grand Magic Games. Anyway, Laxus then uses the Lightning Dragon's Bite and manages to beat Tempesta right on the face, and he's out cold. Okay. That ended quicker than I expected. I mean, this is like Tartarus, the Kukimon, 9 Demon Gates of Hell. And, you know, they're built up to be this incredibly strong, threatening, dark guild, since they came from the books of Zerath, and was the guild master, and one guy got taken down in like 2 hits by Laxus. Okay, I know some of you guys are incredibly disappointed by this, but this is just one guy. Maybe he's the weakest out of all of the Kukimon. So I still have a little bit of hope for Tartarus. I'm just gonna wait and see till they fully show up and, you know, use more of the extent of their abilities. And granted, Laxus did beat Jura, who was number 5 of the top 10 Wizard Saints, but that would mean that even Jura could beat Tempesta. Okay, yeah, this is a bit of a problem that I did really have in the chapter. I didn't think the fight would last so quickly. I don't know, I thought Tempesta was gonna put up more of a fight. Well, anyway, now that he's defeated, the Raijinshuu cheer for him. There was actually a moment when Evergreen said, "You're such a man's man," and then you get a panel of Elfman sneezing. I thought it was kind of funny. So they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with him. Pixel said that they could try to take him to one of the branches of the Magic Council headquarters, but according to Yajima, if the main headquarters is destroyed, then sooner or later the branches of the Magic Council will be destroyed as well, since they're so dependent and reliant over the main branch. So Freed decides that they should take him to the fairy tale headquarters and interrogate him, which they were going to do, but it seems that Tempesta wasn't really defeated. Okay, never mind. Anyway, he said that he didn't really anticipate any humans that are capable of it being incredibly strong. And he said that he was going to sacrifice one of his lives. I guess that explains why he was called Calamity of the Immortal, because apparently he does seem immortal. He has like multiple lives. Not sure how many lives he has. When he sacrificed one of his lives, he turned into this black mist, and it scattered all across the area. Now, according to Tempesta, this is a technique called the Masho Ryusi, or the magical barrier particles. They feed on the ether nano of the atmosphere and pollute it. So the black mist is consuming the ether nano and is polluting the atmosphere. Not only that, but it also poisonous towards the mages, anyone that can use magic. So it's basically a magic poison for mages. However, there is actually one flaw for this. Since Tempesta sacrificed one of his lives and turned into the black mist, he has to go back to headquarters of Tartarus to restore his physical body. And he leaves Laxus and the others saying, "I look forward to dancing on your corpses in hell." Now, the black mist is all over the area, and it has infected the Raijinshi and Yajima. They try to get away, but they couldn't. Freed, Bixel, Yajima pass out, leaving only Laxus and Freed, who are still conscious. So Laxus decides to inhale all the poison, since Dragon Slayer's lungs are unique, and since he's a second generation Dragon Slayer, in order to save everybody. He tells Freed to take everybody back to Fairy Tale. And then we cut back to the Fairy Tale headquarters, where we see Polyushka. I can never say her name. Polyusika. Yeah. Anyway, she tells Makarov and the other Fairy Tale members that Laxus and the others are still alive. Even though they're still alive, their bodies are still struggling over the magical barrier particles. Polyusika said that their bodies may not be able to make a full recovery, especially Laxus, since the amount of internal damage he suffered by inhaling that poison. I'm gonna call it right now. Eventually he'll wake up and he'll become a lightning poison Dragon Slayer now. I mean, why not? Natsu has the lightning power up, Gajiel just now has the shadow power up, so Laxus might have poison. And if that is going to happen, then it's only a matter of time for Wendy to get a second power up. Granted, I was a little bit disappointed now that Laxus is out of the picture for the upcoming battle between Fairy Tale and Tartarus, but on the plus side, maybe he might be able to recover and join in the fray at the final last minute, maybe? Hopefully he'll get at least one fight. I don't know. I really hope so, because I still like Laxus, and I just want him to get an actual decent fight against Tartarus. Maybe a rematch against Tempesta, but I guess not. I guess Hiramashima needed something to get Laxus out of the picture and to incredibly piss off the members of Fairy Tale. Now, Freed seems to be the only one that's actually conscious. He said that Laxus managed to save everyone in the village. But, however, when we cut back to the village, the black mist has infected the entire area, meaning Laxus has failed to save them. Now, we see a couple of mages with gas masks. They're putting the entire village in quarantine, and not only did mages were infected, but also those that don't have magical powers. And the total body count was over 100. Okay, I'll admit, Tempesta seems like quite the threat, even though he was taken down 2 hits by Laxus. But still, that black mist was very lethal. Although I don't know if that's gonna work against Natsu or any of the other main characters of Fairy Tale, because Makama friendship power-up somehow. Back with Freed, when he asked Makarov if everybody in the village was okay, Makarov lied to him. Instead of telling him the actual truth that people were dying and the village was under quarantine, he tells them, yes, the village is safe, everybody is safe. Freed was relieved, and he starts to tear up. Now, the rest of the Fairy Tale members were obviously incredibly pissed, they're incredibly sad, and everybody knows that if somebody threatens their friends, a certain main character will become incredibly pissed and want to kick down the people responsible for it. As we see at the final page, Natsu is incredibly pissed, and he says, "This means war," and that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 358. What did I think? Well, to be honest, I thought this week's chapter was not as good as the last two, but this was still an okay chapter. I was a bit disappointed that Tempesta was defeated so easily, sort of. Well, not really, but he was beaten by 2 hits by Laxus. But still, Laxus is still a cool character. It's just that, I don't know, I thought the fight was supposed to last a little longer. Now, I was glad that some of the members were taken down, but some people feel like this was a poor excuse to get Laxus out of the picture for the upcoming war between Fairy Tail and Tartarus. I also agree that as well, but if we're lucky, maybe Laxus will make a full recovery, and who knows, he might become a lightning poison dragon slayer, and he might help fight against Tartarus, who knows. But aside from that, Tempesta does seem like a threat, even though he wasn't strong enough to beat Laxus. I mean, the whole black mist thing that was able to infect magic users, not just magic users, but also regular humans as well. I mean, he managed to kill over 100 people by sacrificing one of his lives. And I'm not gonna judge the entire guild or the Kyukimon just because of one guy getting hit twice and was unconscious for a while. So I still have a little bit of hope for Tartarus. Now, next week's chapter is going to be called Fairies vs. Demons, which means we'll finally get the confrontation between Fairy Tail and the Kyukimon if we're lucky. However, they don't know where the Tartarus Guild headquarters is, so how are they going to find them? I do not know. But since Tempesta is going back to HQ, he'll probably tell the Kyukimon about Fairy Tail, meaning that they'll probably go try to find them, meaning that will be how the fight will occur. So as I said, overall, I thought the chapter was okay. Not as good as the last two, but still okay overall. I know a lot of people were disappointed about Laxus' fight against Tempesta. I was kind of, but I'll save my judgment for the rest of Tartarus when they also show up as well. I'm not going to judge them because of one guy's so-called defeat by 2 hits. So tell me, guys, what did you think about this week's chapter of Fairy Tail? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, like the video if you like it, and subscribe for more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 358. I'm Natsu 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.